Yo, welcome back to the channel, guys. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A about UCSB and talk about how I got into UCSB. With college apps happening right now, I thought this video would be a great idea. I wanted to do it for some time now. Also, I have midterms happening right now, so I can't do like a crazy video, but I still wanted to upload a video this week. It's a little bit of a simpler one. I haven't really done a sit down talk to you guys video, but I thought this would be cool. So I've gathered a few questions that I'm going to read out loud and then answer as best as I can. I hope that these questions help you guys when you're thinking about what colleges you want to apply to, or you're thinking about how to apply certain situations that I had to go through into your college experience. I have the questions on my computer right here. So first, I'm going to be talking about how I got into UCSB. I'm going to be talking about what type of colleges I applied to. I'll just tell you guys which ones I got accepted into, which ones I didn't get accepted into with my statistics. I applied to a total of 10 schools. I applied to 5 UCs, and the rest were private schools or Cal States. I applied to UCSB, obviously. I applied to UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Cruz, and UC Davis. The private schools I applied to were USC, Chapman, Loyola Marymount University, and the Cal States that I applied to were CSUN and Cal Poly SLO. The only schools that I didn't get into were UC Berkeley, USC, and I got waitlisted at UCLA and then eventually got rejected, but it's fine. So my statistics. My GPA, it's a little hard to calculate because UC is calculated a certain way and my high school calculated a certain way based on my honors and my APs and all that stuff. But I think my GPA was around a 4.2, 4.3. My ACT score, I got a 28. I want to also give you guys a little bit of advice for all of you applying to colleges right now. For the essays, I had to write 4 essays for the UC application. And then for some of the private schools, I had to write a couple of short essays. I'm not going to talk about what I wrote, but I just want to give some advice. I want you guys to know that you should definitely start on these essays as soon as possible, because especially as first semester seniors, you have a lot of work. It's already November, so this video is a little late, but for future kids, I would recommend starting in the summer. But if not, it's fine. Just make sure to put a lot of time and effort into these essays. They're very important. I definitely think they can make or break. I talked to a few kids last year that I lived with at the dorms. Some of them wrote amazing essays and had terrible statistics and they still got in, or they had great test scores, horrible essays, still got in. It's kind of just the luck of the draw. Also, I had a college counselor out of school. I would recommend that if possible. If not, that's okay. Just make sure to put a lot of effort into those essays. Extracurriculars, I had a lot of community service because my high school required it. I got a few awards such as the Dean's List, National Honors. Now diving into the questions about UCSB. What was one of the biggest challenges you faced during your transition? I just want to say in the beginning, it was really tough for me. I was not used to moving out of my comfort zone at home into this big, giant school with 20,000 kids. And it was weird not being at home with my family all the time. The first day that I moved into the dorm, I had a panic attack because I was freaking out. I was really overwhelmed. I was thinking about all these responsibilities that I have to do alone. Main concern was probably laundry. I really did not know how to do laundry. Turns out it's pretty easy. Also, regarding applications, make sure to do your research, because I was very naive. I was not very experienced. I'm the first kid to go to college in my family, first generation as well. So I had no idea what I was doing. I wanted to stay in California. So I pretty much applied to schools that I knew were good in California or that I heard were good in California. Definitely do your research. Make sure you know what type of school you want to go to, with factors such as weather, big school, small school, in-state, out-of-state. Do you want to be near a beach? Do you want to be near cows? Do you want to be in a college town? Like, what do you want to be in? You know, you got to do all that research and make sure you know what you want before applying to colleges. Also, regarding major, I did not know what I wanted to major in. I never really knew what I wanted to do when I grew up. So picking a major was a little bit difficult for me. When I applied to all these schools, I kind of just picked a random major. I pretty much went undeclared. On to the next question. How was it transitioning into college from high school? And going off of that, what advice do you have for high school seniors or current first years that are going through this transition process? My first piece of advice for you high schoolers or first years is to just be yourself. Don't be afraid to meet new people, to go outside of your comfort zone. Don't let people force you to do what you don't want to do. My second piece of advice, don't slack. especially with the quarter system at UCs, except for UC Berkeley. The quarter system is very fast paced. You have to keep up with your work. You can't fall behind. It's literally week 5 right now, had midterms, felt like I started school maybe yesterday, honestly. Another piece of advice, take every day as its own. Don't think about the next day, don't think about yesterday. Every day is a new day. Next question, talk about your dorm life experience. And going off of that, how is life like socially at UCSB? Honestly, regarding the first year, depending on your dorm, I personally lived at a dorm that was very, very social. It was off campus, which sucked, but it was still very social. Literally, you just knock on someone's door and you just talk to them. The typical topic everyone wonders about, especially regarding UCSB, parties. There are a lot of parties. You can meet many people at parties. There are kickbacks happening all the time. House parties, frat parties. But yeah, going off of frat parties, you can always join Greek life here at UCSB. It's a great way to make new friends. Back to the dorm life, I personally really loved my dorm. The dorm that I lived in was called FT, or Santa Catalina dorms. I lived in North Tower, there are 2 towers, and I loved it there. I made some friends that I'm still in touch with today. I loved the freedom. I loved most things about it. I hated how far it was and how I had to bike like a mile pretty much every day to class, but it was still a great experience. We had study rooms, we had pool table downstairs, vending machines. For the next question, what separates UCSB from other colleges? So if you've never been to UCSB, or if you have been to UCSB, you know that UCSB is a college very, very close to the beach. Honestly, sometimes it feels like a resort, going to the beach after class, going to the beach before class, in the morning, seeing sunset, you know, it's very unique. It's very different from many colleges. That's just one factor that sets it apart. Another factor, the biking. Biking at UCSB is huge. A lot of the students at UCSB own a bike. We have bike paths on campus, bike paths around campus. The third factor is downtown Santa Barbara. A lot of restaurants, shops. It's not too far. It's maybe like a 15-minute drive, 20-minute drive from the campus. Next question. What are some things you didn't know about UCSB until you got there that later seemed crucial to know? There were a few things that I didn't know about UCSB and wish I had researched about UCSB before coming here. Honestly, I pretty much accepted my admission offer to UCSB because number 1, it's a UC. Number 2, it's in California. Number 3, I thought it's the beach, Santa Barbara. I've always loved Santa Barbara growing up, so I thought it would be the perfect place for me. I toured it and I really got that college campus feel. I love the little college town aspect. And also, it's not too far away from my home in Los Angeles. I also heard amazing things about the school. Throughout my first year at UCSB, I really discovered a few things that kind of set me off. I did not know that UCSB does not have a business major, which kind of upset me later on because at first I didn't know what I wanted to major in, but later on I was thinking about business and then I realized the school doesn't even have business. So I did want to transfer for a little bit because of that, but eventually I tested out a few other major classes such as econ, poli-sci, or political science, and right now I'm doing communications and I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with communications as my major. Another factor that I didn't like about UCSB was the weather during the winter. It gets very, very cold here. I don't know why I didn't really think about that, but it gets pretty cold. I can't compare it obviously to my friends in the East Coast, but I really don't like the cold. The last factor that I kind of don't really like that much about UCSB is that it's very, very research based. I personally am not a huge fan of research, but honestly I kind of just learned to like stick with it and just do it and get the degree that I want and go to a school that I love. I really think that all the cool features about the school are more important to look at than the detriments that I have seen. I do want to say that I really have developed this new perspective about UCSB this year. Factors such as major and weather and all those types of things aren't really a problem for me anymore. I really think I'm set on my major now. I don't let the weather really get to me, just gotta layer up sometimes, whatever. And I really feel like I've fully transitioned into the school now. I've met some really cool people where I live. I have acclimated to the quarter system. It's not really a big problem for me anymore. That pretty much concludes today's video, guys. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this was helpful for you guys. Comment down below if you have any other questions for me about UCSB. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you're new, and stay tuned for my next video. Peace.